everybody. I'm assuming this mic is working and you can hear me. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Yes, thank you very, very much. I must say that I'm super excited to be here tonight. Last year I spoke on stage, and this year I get to MC this event and watch all of these fantastic speakers do their magic. There were a couple of people that came up to me earlier and said, hey, have you gotten all your jokes ready, Steve? And I have to tell you, I really thought about doing jokes, but I don't know any clean ones. And given this is an HR conference, I figured I probably won't do those ones. So yes, it is great to be here. Let's do a quick land acknowledgement. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we're gathered at today. We're located in Ottawa on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin people. We pay respect to all Indigenous people in this region from all nations across Canada and the world. We also have a bunch of sponsors that we need to make sure that we acknowledge and thank. So we have 7 sponsor partners, and their support has been really, really great. And some of them have been with DisruptHR Ottawa for since almost the beginning of time. So thank you to Hicks Morley, Clarity Group, Keynote Search, Stratford, Mosley Group Benefits, RBC Group Advantage, and Twin. So big round of applause for our sponsors, please. Thank you very much. We also have a charity partner tonight, and really pleased to partner with the University of Ottawa Heart Institute Foundation. And we're going to ask Leanne Lang to come to the stage to say a few words about the great work that they are doing. Welcome.
I realize that the speakers are actually going to be unscripted and timed and going really fast, so I'm going to try to do this pretty quickly, but unfortunately I needed a script. Usually I ad-lib, but I realize the importance of what today's really about. So thank you so much for having me and for the opportunity to express our gratitude for your support as this year's charitable partner. It's a privilege to stand before a room full of professionals who understand the power of disruption, not just in business, but also in the lives that we all get to touch. When we talk about disruption, we often think technology, strategy, and systems. But the profound disruption happens in a moment with our health. When a life is saved, when a diagnosis is reversed, when a family gets to keep their loved one just a little bit longer. And that's the kind of disruption your support is helping to make tonight. At the University of Ottawa Heart Institute, we see around 240,000 patients a year. We perform over 2,000 catheter-based and open heart surgeries. And our diagnostic and imaging teams conduct more than 70,000 images and tests annually. Every day we give patients and families the gift of time. I hear it on the intercom, and I'm in the office every day, and I hear it in a code STEMI. And when the code STEMI is called, it signals the entire Heart Institute teams to be ready for an incoming ambulance with someone experiencing cardiac arrest. I actually feel like the pulse of the building, it shifts. We hear it, we see people in movement, knowing at this point that every minute counts. And that's when partnerships fuel readiness, precision, and hope. We're especially grateful to be your charitable partner for our Jump In for Women's Heart Health campaign, which is just wrapping up now. Heart disease is actually the #1 cause of death for women worldwide and here in Canada. Yet, women remain underdiagnosed, undertreated, and under-researched. We have different symptoms, we have different risk factors, and we have different outcomes, and this campaign was all about changing that. So Jump In for Women's Heart Health was a 30-day challenge, 30 minutes of physical activity a day, and for some that was routine, part of their everyday lives, and for others it was actually a radical shift. But for everyone who participated, it actually ends up being a game changer. So 23 years ago, I actually lost my dad to a heart attack. He had just turned 57 the day before, and it was 2 weeks before my wedding. I found empty containers of Pepto-Bismol and heartburn medications when I was going through all of his items. He'd likely had minor events that he never followed up on. And then I realized too that his father, my grandfather, who I never got to meet, also died at a very young age. Family history plays a huge role in heart disease, but so does prevention. And prevention starts with a conversation. And that's where HR comes in. You are the culture carriers, the one who turn values into everyday actions and into company culture. You are the wellness champions, creating spaces where conversations about health, equity, and belonging aren't just welcomed, but they're actually expected. HR is the only department that can actually make people laugh and cry and sign forms all before you even have lunch. And you don't just manage people, you build the places where they thrive and where humans feel like they can be human and where everyone belongs. So at the Heart Institute, we're proud to be one of Canada's top cardiac centers and the top 3% globally in research. From pioneering cardiac science to cutting-edge procedures, we are transforming how people are treated and how we can help prevent heart disease. So thanks to your generosity, we are pushing boundaries even further. So thank you, honestly, thank you for believing in our mission, for investing in prevention, and for helping us give the gift of time. I'm actually really looking forward to being able to sit here and listen to some of these presentations, because when I started this job 5 years ago, HR was like the hardest part of me to manage. It was like, oh my God, how on earth do I do all of this? And so thank you for everything that you do. I'm really excited to hear some of the speakers tonight. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. You know, that really hits home for me. My father had a heart attack in his early 50s, but he got help, and he's now 88 years old and healthy as a horse. So thanks to anybody that's already contributed to the fundraising campaign for this. We are pleased to mark the close of September's Jump for Women's Heart Health campaign with that reminder for regular heart checks and screenings to protect against heart disease. Jazz and Kevin Barwin, are they here in the room right now? Right there, okay. Thank you very much. And is Kevin Barwin around? There's Kevin Barwin over there, fantastic. They are gonna be available to collect any donations that you want to make during the event tonight. You can do card tap, or you can do cash, because we're high-tech. Card tap will work. And so they're going to be doing that during the networking break. So please take that opportunity to do that. And Kevin and Jazz, thanks for volunteering to do that. You're going to receive a ticket for every donation that you give, but if you give $20, you'll get a sleeve of tickets. So find the person in the room with the longest arms, this gentleman right down here, give him your $20 and ask him to buy the tickets for you. Anyway, you're gonna have a chance to win some gift cards supporting local Ottawa businesses, and also, I believe, some tickets to DisruptHR Montreal. And DisruptHR Montreal folks are sitting up here at the second table in the middle. You want to say hello to everybody? Bonjour. Excited for you to be here tonight as well. And the draw will be held at the end of the evening, which means you have to stick around in order to win. Let's talk about our speakers for a quick moment here. I think about DisruptHR, and sure, HR, that's an important part of that title, but disrupt really stands out for me, because our world is so filled with disruption right now, whether it be technology or climate, demographics, politics, even pirates in the Red Sea disrupting supply chain, right? We have so much disruption. And so in that world of disruption, leaders are thinking about how can they create, deliver, and capture value differently, and they need to innovate. And that's what tonight is about. Tonight is about those disruptive ideas, coming up with new ways to look at things. So tonight we have 8 amazing speakers for you, and they're ready to share some of their ideas for you. In your programs, it lists each of the speakers, and there's room for you to take notes, I believe, so be prepared to do that. And I want to let you know, it takes a lot of courage for these speakers to be up on stage. This is one of the hardest talk formats that you will ever do. If you've never done one, I encourage you to try it. I spoke last year, and I prepared more for this than I would for a full-day workshop. Right? It is hard because you have 5 minutes, 20 slides, And each one of those slides automatically advances every 15 seconds. There's no pauses and no going back. That is tough. And so, a big shout out to our speakers for having the courage to do this. So let's give our speakers a round of applause. Okay, well, they are waiting anxiously backstage, so I'll let them know I'm about to call your name. So please welcome our first speaker, Leora Rateblatt, who is sharing the science of creativity. Welcome, Laura. Okay, you want to give me a thumbs up? You're ready? Okay. I would love the audience to help us count down from 5. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Over to you.
We've been sold a lie that creativity is a talent for the lucky few. But neuroscience suggests otherwise. Creativity is not necessarily a gift, it's biology. And, better yet, it's hackable. When I work with teams to solve problems, I like to first ask if people perceive themselves as creative. I usually get one of 2 responses. 1, the hands shoot up, or 2, the eyes begin to roll. And in truth, it's a bit of a trick question. Because the question should not be, are you creative? The question should be, how do we set ourselves up to be more creative? Creativity is the key to solving problems, unlocking opportunities, and challenging the systems that keep us stuck. So in truth, creativity is not a talent. It's a neurochemical state, and it's one we can influence. For example, when we're ideating, we often use terms like blue sky thinking, think outside the box, the sky is the limit, all in hopes of getting to that next big breakthrough. The English language itself suggests that to have that next big breakthrough, we need big, bold, expansive thinking. But I'm here to suggest that that may not always be the case. In fact, sometimes to get to that next big, exciting breakthrough, we don't need to remove limits. We need to box them in. We need to create constraints. That's when creativity becomes not this abstract thing, it becomes scientific. In fact, studies show that in our prefrontal cortex, our brains actually get more lit up when we're creative and ideating under constraints. It's science. So what does this mean? Let me share an example. During the pandemic, Steinhardt Gin was facing a massive market constraint. Their sales were plummeting over 90%, and employees were scared about losing their jobs. So, in one of their meetings, an offhand comment mentioned that someone couldn't find hand sanitizer. And before you know it, that created a constraint. Could Steinhardt Gin use their existing equipment and resources under this constraint? They did. Not only did they start bottling gin, they started bottling hand sanitizer, which is an incredible example of how constraints got them out of that kind of situation. Sometimes if we have too many options, originality suffers. But constraints, they help us get creative. In fact, in today's day and age, we actually need more creative boundaries, not fewer. Why? Because limitless tools now surround us. Have we heard about a little something called artificial intelligence? Yeah, well, today AI can create almost anything, a business plan, a website, even a painting within seconds. So if anyone can create virtually anything, the real creative act isn't always the output. It's the input, the prompt. That's why prompt engineering is emerging as such a strange new superpower, because at its core, it's not really technical. It's profoundly creative. It's guiding infinity into that one thing that you're hoping to create. But in my perspective, I still think that creativity still should come from here, our human brain, even when we're not really expecting it. Science from the Neural Leadership Institute says that our brains actually keep solving problems, even when we're not actively thinking about it. What does this look like? Well, have you ever experienced this eureka or aha moment when you're driving home, walking the dog, or in my case, why Why is it always in the shower? I don't know. But the science is clear. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day of downtime, that's not doom scrolling, is shown to encourage our brain to take what we've learned and synthesize those insights, make connections. It's because to perform at our best, our brain really needs rest. Making more time for downtime has been shown to help our brains synthesize those pieces and become more creative. When we stop treating creativity as a childish skill or a talent, we can train for it. We can engineer constraints to guide our focus. We can be intentional with our downtime to help our brains be more creative. And if creativity really is biology, then we all have the hardware for it. The question becomes, will you set yourself up to be more creative? Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. What a great start. Leora, thank you very, very much. Who knew that limits could be the secret to creativity? Maybe next time we hit a door, we can look at it, or let me rephrase that. Maybe next time we hit a wall and see those constraints, we can see that as an opportunity and walk through. So thank you very much. For our second speaker, please welcome Nadine Zainoun. You think you're fair? Think twice. Okay, ready to count down? You ready? Okay. 5, 4, 3, help me out here. 2, 1.
Have you ever felt like you were so convinced that you were right about someone's behavior, only to find out that you weren't? Let me take you back to one of the most high-stakes projects of my life. That project was everything to me. It was my chance to prove myself, to advance in my career. Failure was not an option for me. And that's why I gave the most critical task to one of my friends who was with us in the team, and I trusted her. And I was clear, I needed this by Monday. Yet Monday came, nothing. I talked to her, she agreed. 2 days later, still nothing. Then I saw her sitting around with colleagues, laughing as if nothing was at stake here. My mind exploded. She's so irresponsible. How could she do this to me? I went crazy. And because fairness is one of my top strengths, I knew this was not fair. So I went into her office and I shouted, "This is not fair. This is not right. You're irresponsible. How could you do this to me?" Her face was blank. She was silent. And I knew then that I was right. But I wasn't. You see, what I saw as irresponsibility was actually fear. She was afraid to let me down. And that's why she was crippled. And she couldn't move forward. And she had to seek help. And that's why she was with her friends. Why did this happen? How could someone who is usually so fair judge someone so unfairly? And very simply, our brains are biased. You see, the reality we see is shaped by the emotional state that we are in. So the same reality can look so different just because we're in a different emotional state. And the state I was in was fear. I was afraid, and that triggered my survival mode brain. And it allowed me to look at things as if they were threats and as if something wrong was going to happen. And what happened then? My ears shut out. I was not listening. My curiosity was killed. And I climbed up the ladder of conclusions, and I made my own assumptions. And these assumptions, I became so attached to them, they became my reality, that I created a barrier between me and my trusting friend. So the question is, how many times have you, like me, been in a situation where you thought you were absolutely right, only to find out that it was all in your head? So what do we do in this situation? I call on my 3 C's now. 1, become conscious. Conscious of the emotional state that you are in and how it's impacting your reality. Number 2, get curious. Ask yourself, what other realities exist out there? What could be another explanation to this other than what I'm seeing at the moment? And 3, connect with that person. And connect with them through deep listening. And what I mean by deep listening is not to make sure that your reality is correct, but rather to connect to their reality and understand where they are coming from. You see, the biggest disruption is this. It's not people's behaviors that ruin trust. It's the story our brain writes about those behaviors. So the next time you're in a situation where you are so sure you're judging someone in the right way, think twice, pause, and go back to the 3 C's. Become conscious of the possible bias that you are in. Get curious about other possibilities that lie out there, and connect with the person and give them a chance to speak up. Remember, it's not easy, and you're going to lose something here. You're going to lose your own reality. But I can assure you, you will win a relationship. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for that. What a great reality check, that sometimes our brain is lying to us. And, you know, especially when we think we're being fair, we may not actually be. So that was amazing. So please welcome our 3rd speaker, Joshua Abraham, who'll be speaking about the infinite leader. Joshua, you ready? Okay, audience, I need you to help again. Counting from 5 is really difficult. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So a funny thing happened to me the other day. I asked my wife if she would help me practice this DisruptHR talk, and she said, sure, but did you use ChatGPT? And you know, she had every right to ask that, honestly, because I thought about it. And that's really the problem with AI right now. We're not using AI to help us grow, we're using it to skip the work. So what does a healthy relationship with AI look like then? Well, I didn't know that my journey to answer that question started about 2 years ago when I enrolled in a mentorship program for people like me, and I was so excited to find out that I had been paired with, get this, the Chief Learning Officer at Starbucks, Mr. Brandon Carson. How cool is that? But that experience got me thinking a couple things. You know, Brandon's bandwidth wasn't infinite. At the end of the day, only I and a few others would be able to benefit from that amazing experience. And when Brandon left Starbucks last year, he took all of that knowledge with him, leaving future generations there at a loss. And so companies, we scramble with this knowledge retention problem, don't we? We build succession planning programs, we invest in leadership development, and mentorship has never been so hot. But we know how that story ends, don't we? We know that succession planning, well, that becomes pure replacement planning. We know that leadership development, for it to be really good, it's super expensive, and it's the first thing to get cut in the corporate budget. And let's face it, no one's making time for mentorship, even if we give them all the tools. But AI can help if we change our relationship with it. And it's not to talk to it like a machine to do the work for us. It turns out it's better for our brains if we talk to it like a human to get better work done. So I had a crazy idea. What if we took then our best humans and we made AI versions of them so that people anywhere at any time could benefit from that knowledge forever? I knew I had to try. So let me introduce you to someone special, okay? This is Dr. Sandra Loughlin. Sandra is the Chief Learning Scientist at a company called EPAM. And for decades, she has been helping organizations become skills-based and future-ready. I built her twin, I did. And I used it based off of all of her talks, her articles, her podcasts, anything she posted on LinkedIn. I took all of that and I built Sandra GPT. And it mirrors her tone, her style, and expertise with stunning accuracy because it only uses the knowledge I gave. Ask it anything about skills-based organizations, it talks just like Sandra. She doesn't leave, retire, or move on and take all of that knowledge with her. The infinite leader was born. What if we didn't stop with Sandra, though? Well, it turns out it comes with a few surprising benefits first. You know, I got stronger because to train it, I had to truly understand all of that knowledge myself, so it reinforced my own learning. Also, to my surprise, the real Sandra started to use it too. She would look into it like a mirror and started asking it questions about any gaps in her personality traits, her communication style, and the way she engages online. And since then, she's actually refined the way she communicates with people that she knows and works with. Remember Brandon from last year, or that experience I told you about? Well, he beat us all to it, and he's made his own AI twin too. I'm telling you, this trend is catching on, and vendors are capitalizing on this idea and doing it for us too, if you pay the big bucks. Because organizations everywhere are in fear of losing their best leaders. But what if they didn't actually really leave? What if when they left, their knowledge stayed in the organization where they were? Here's my disruptive challenge for all of you, okay? Bring the infinite leader concept to your organizations. Trust me, this is free. Take it. I don't want it. There's no trademarks. Make clones of your best and brightest. Imagine new hires getting mentored by the last 5 CEOs. This isn't about pure knowledge retention. I'm telling you, this is mentorship at scale. This is guidance on demand. This is a living legacy that helps the next generation grow stronger, faster, and wiser. Too scared to start? Don't know what to do? Start small. That's what I did. Make one. I dare you. If I can do it, a non-techie, then trust me, anyone can. Together, we can convince other people to make AI versions of their favorite leaders or themselves. Together, we can bridge the gap between industry leaders and emerging professionals, ensuring that knowledge is no longer confined anymore to a select few, but made accessible to all. We are at a crossroads with AI. We can use it to cut corners and do the work for us, or we can use it to help us grow. We can talk to it like a machine, or we can put the human into AI and get some real work done. So when your real leaders leave, will their knowledge leave too, or will it live on? Infinite leaders who lead forever. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Joshua. I have to admit, I'm both inspired and a little bit nervous about a twin of me in AI. Watch out. But thanks for a fascinating look at preserving leadership DNA. Okay, for our fourth speaker, after the speaker we'll have a break, but our fourth speaker, please welcome Mary Daly, AI, think high, start small, lead anyway. Mary, you ready? Thumbs up. Okay, here we go. Let's count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
AI is loud, headlines everywhere. But the thing is, HR is not late to the game. HR is built for this. The way we work, decide, collaborate, that's not fluff. That's how we get beyond the hype. Here, I mean Gen AI, tools like ChatGPT, built for prompting, built for thinking, helping you shape, simplify, sharpen, spark what's next. After all, prompting is thinking. How can HR help create the conditions, the capability, and the experiments that enable AI to thrive in organizations? How can HR improve AI capability? The real unlock for AI is readiness inside organizations. AI needs people who get people. That's not a tech thing, that's a human thing. You even have human in your title. HR already lives at the level that AI needs. You see up, down, across the organization. You live in the crosswinds between power and people. You know where the problems are and the potential. The future of AI is not just technical, it's cultural. It's not just a skills gap, it's the conditions around it. It's the organizational capability that has to keep up. The readiness question is not can we, it's will we. The secret for AI will come from culture, norms, habits, and that's your lane. You don't need a detailed playbook. You just need to identify a problem worth naming and the courage to name it. Bring AI into the stuck, and you'll change how work works. Job descriptions, interview guides, those are time sucks with zero glory. AI gives you back time, and it gives you back brain power. Before AI, we hustle. With AI, we breathe. AI gives us more time to think more clearly, and when leaders think clearly, they can lead more boldly. Many leaders are working below their intended level. They're very busy doing day-to-day business. No time to think strategically. AI helps lift that ceiling. Yes, there is efficiency, but it's more than that. AI gives us altitude. We can move from tactical overload up to being able to see the sky, and that's jet fuel for leaders. Don't do nothing because you can't do everything. Take one useful step. It'll open up the space for smarter later moves. Begin where you are and work with the willing. Step in further into AI. Soon, suddenly, you'll be building things, building cool things, and soon you'll be saying, look what I did, look what I can do. And so, when you use AI, you get the space and power to think at altitude, explore bold futures, test crazy ideas, and then you can come back grounded, confident, ready to explore. But you say AI makes mistakes. Are you using AI for ideas or for truth? Think of mistakes as an invitation. They just help show you where your thinking matters most. After all, right is a process. Start messy, stay creative, adjust as you go. There's only ever better drafts. Your value does not come from knowing all the AI tech. Run experiments, share lessons. That's how you grow and scale capability in your organization. HR already lives at the level that AI needs, where strategy meets people reality. Your edge, culture, systems, habits. It's not tech skills gap, it's how work actually works. And so, HR is not late to the game. You're right on time. It's not about catching up, it's about stepping up. This is your lane, and you already know the road. Go for it.
Let's welcome our fifth speaker tonight, Nathan Hall, who's going to talk about the 4 tensions that make us or break us. Nathan, please come to the stage. There we go. Welcome, Nathan. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's count down from 5 again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The biggest threat to any business is not its competition, market dynamics, or even AI. It's the unseen tensions that pull us out of rhythm with each other. You see, teams either move together or they move against each other. That's what determines whether they win or whether they lose. Now, you've felt the strain of being out of rhythm before. It's the endless arguments that just keep looping. It's the secret meetings that happen after the meeting. It's the team members that quietly check out. It feels like a barrage of issues that you have to deal with. But really, it's the same tensions that keep breaking through the surface. But these points of friction are not battles to be won. Rather, they're negotiations to be had across these 4 tensions: identity, story, structure, and reciprocity. Our identity is strained when who counts is contested, when belonging is questioned or weaponized, when certain people are pushed to the edge and the us no longer feels safe. Our story is strained when what's true is contested, and our unresolved past or our uncertain future pull us away from the present, stalling our momentum, causing us to drift further apart. Our structure is strained when how we work is contested, and the rules either suffocate or they unravel. Clarity dissolves, but so does our trust in us. Reciprocity is strained when what's fair is contested, and the balance of giving and getting tipped too far towards burnout, resentment, or exploitation, making us no longer sustainable. When any of these tensions pull too far, it's like the ground shakes beneath us. Cracks spread, trust fractures, conflict rises. I don't belong here. Don't belong here. Do you see all that we've done for you people? Yeah, but those things didn't help. Like, nothing has changed. Literally everything has changed, and you're still not happy. You people are never satisfied. This is how conflict loops. We think we're talking about an issue, when really it's the tensions underneath that keep pulling us back and forth across the same 4 questions. This is why none of the quick wins we push for ever really hold us together. That policy you implemented, the programs you roll out, they patch the cracks temporarily, but the instability just breaks them open again. Our job isn't to keep patching the cracks. The work of us is to balance the tensions underneath and to do it together. So how do we do this? Step 1, we have to spot the strain. Is it identity, story, structure, or reciprocity? Stop fighting the surface issues and identify what's pulling underneath. Step 2, we have to name it together. Say what's being strained. Make it explicit so the tension is shared and not hidden. Step 3, we have to balance it. These tensions can never be resolved. They can only be balanced. We need to learn how to hold both ends in order to steady the ground. If we are going to win, we have to win together. Every office conflict that you've experienced, every point of friction, beneath all of them are the same 4 tensions. Your team doesn't face an unlimited list of problems it needs to tackle. It's faced with 4 tensions. The question is, are you going to move together in balancing them, or will you continue to move against each other? The future doesn't belong to the strongest. It doesn't belong to the smartest or even the most financed. It belongs to those who move together. Because when we move together, nothing can stop us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Nathan. You know, what a really refreshing way to look at culture. Not just about tensions, but a rhythm that we can actually do something with. Our next speaker, Nilofer Erdebil, is going to share Stop Faking Alignment. Welcome. You ready? Okay, let's count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Raise your hand if you've ever nodded in a meeting and thought something completely different. Yeah, we've all played the corporate bobblehead routine. We go into meetings where people nod and then walk out with their own agenda. You might be thinking, why am I here, or what's for lunch? Nodding isn't alignment. It's acting. It's corporate improv. Fake alignment's actually rather deadly. Without clarity, projects, products, services, strategy all fail before they even begin. It's like 10 people designing a bathroom with 3 toilets, no door, and a sink in the hallway. Totally useless, but technically sound. And it happens in organizations all the time. It's not theory. There's a global giant that tried to align its divisions around one new system without actually agreeing on terminology or processes. The result? Order chaos, supply chain breakdowns, and $160 million in losses. If you want to burn cash, keep nodding. Misaligned organizations lose between 5 to 15% of their revenue, while aligned organizations grow 19% faster and are 15% more profitable. Misalignment in organizations looks like things that sit on the shelf because either people didn't want them or because they were poorly executed. It's silos, it's delays, missed deadlines, people not talking to each other, or straight up standstills. So how do you create alignment and not just polite agreement? Clarity that people can actually act on. We're actually not trained or rewarded for working together or working on alignment. Great teams align on why. Why is the purpose that we can all anchor around? But alignment's more than that. It's priorities, it's roles, responsibilities, terminology, because we're all coming in from different perspectives. I personally get called into organizations at the start of initiatives or when cross-functional teams implode. Kickoff is great, and then all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, IT's not doing what they agreed to, and the business unit doesn't like what IT is doing. Everyone's exhausted. Everyone's saying the same thing, just using different terminology. So we work together, because I can be a translator, but not everybody can have a translator in there. You can create systems to increase alignment. Most people don't realize that their success relies on other people. Results are the sum of everyone's success. Yet, we work in silos, and we create even more through misalignment. Another initiative I was part of had 11 IT leaders and 1 HR leader. It had actually been sitting on the shelf for months because no one was asking the tough questions. So I came in, and there was a lot of nods in our first meeting. And even the CIO said, don't trust the nods, and he was right. The HR leader was sitting off to the side, not really talking to anybody, and people were wondering why they were there. So I had the leaders map out their teams. What are their roles, responsibilities, and what are their expectations, especially around this particular initiative? And there was a lot of discomfort. There's also a lot of breakthroughs, because people realized that they didn't understand each other's teams very well. And then when HR presented, the room shifted. Eyes were wide open, and people were saying things like, wait, you do that? Can you help us? Or, now I know why you're here and how you can help us. Alignment unlocked. People often don't understand what each other's roles, responsibilities, and terminologies are, even in the same department and sometimes in the same team. People are actually afraid of saying things, and they're suffering in silence. And without shared clarity, you don't have a team. You actually have people that are sitting near you. And even that's not true these days. Silence is costly. You need to have guts to be creative and to be aligned. Make alignment part of a system. It's not a one and done. It's like flossing your teeth. You can't do it once, otherwise you end up going and getting a root canal. Alignment is shared clarity and hard conversations. It's like a workout. If you go to the gym and you don't break a sweat and you didn't really push yourself, you just walked around with a water bottle. Real alignment takes effort and sometimes a little bit of a pain. So tomorrow
in your next meeting, ask one hard question. If no one squirms, you didn't ask the right question. Stop faking alignment and don't trust the nods.
Wow, thank you, Nilofer. I think a few of us might right now be rethinking or circling back on one of our last team meetings and thinking, did we really have consensus or alignment there? But it's nighttime, so don't think about work anymore. Okay, let's welcome our seventh speaker tonight, Dale Allen, who's going to share the missing leadership metric, return. Welcome, Dale. Okay, you good? Yes, okay, good. We're going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're reading the land acknowledgement at the beginning of the meeting. I close my eyes, feet on the ground, ready to connect. You pronounce the names of the land, of the people. You pause. And then just like that, nothing changes. Pressure returns. Agenda item number 1, power stays exactly where it was. So what are we really acknowledging? Is it history, responsibility? And what are we still taking? When I hear a land acknowledgement, I see it as a mirror. It reflects memory, and it reflects generosity, and it reflects grief. It reminds me of the patterns that we bring into our culture. How we share, how we rush, and how we take. And it keeps asking, what are we giving back? In HR and in leadership, that question sits right in front of us. Culture shows up in how we're arriving and how we're leaving and what we do in between. It's an expression of giving trust and safety and belonging. And that's why I want to talk about return. Return is helping people, returning to people, places, and conversations, returning them. Return is, oh my gosh, I forgot. Return is leaving people, places, and conversations better than we found them. Return interrupts harm, it restores rhythm. It reminds us that leadership, belonging, even space itself was never just ours. It hit me in an Airbnb. I was busy cleaning up at checkout, folding blankets and fluffing pillows, and my kids asked me, what are you doing? Why are you cleaning? We paid the fee. I mean, they were right. But it was really about respect for me. I wanted to leave the place better than I found it. Later, of course, they tore through the place. Blankets undone, food, wrappers, shoes all over. And I pleaded, can you just leave it better than you found it? And that's when it clicked for me. The connection between land and return is really about turning acknowledgement into action. And it changes everything. Think about a meeting. Someone's speaking, and then mid-sentence, they get interrupted. Everyone starts talking. Oh. But then, someone circles back, cuts through the noise, and says, wait a second, you were speaking. Do you want to continue? And everyone listens. That's return. It's simple, it's human, it is so transformative. Return doesn't fix everything. It's a kind of tending, it's respect. And in HR and in leadership, that's our responsibility. It shows up in how we turn power, pace, voice, benefit. Without it, power claimed without invitation, power over. Pace pushed
without agreement, pushover, voice cut off mid-sentence talkover. Benefit kept without reciprocity, it's over for you. Here's return in practice. Power, have the spotlight, share it. They made it possible. Pace, moving too fast, slow to move together. Voice, ask a question, silence follows. Don't rush, wait. Benefit, have the access, the invite, open it. Here's how I can share what I have. When I hear a land acknowledgement, it inspires me to ask, can we return people to places, to organizations? Can we return people to a place where they're feeling better than we found them? All leadership is borrowed. All space is borrowed. Return is how we're invited back.
Thank you very much, Dale. You know, a great reminder for us that leadership performance isn't measured only by results. It's also measured by the renewal and return that it creates in others. So here we are at our last speaker, speaker number 8. And I'm excited to introduce Karen Ann Davis. What if HR could make pigs fly? Welcome. You ready? Okay. Last countdown, folks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How many of you have heard this before? When pigs fly. It's the way we dismiss ideas that are too bold or too creative. We all know what it means. No way, never, impossible. But what if the ideas we dismiss are the very ones our organizations need most? And what if I told you HR is strategically positioned to make pigs fly? And that unlocking creativity is the key from moving from impossible to possible. The problem, right now, many organizations are stuck. Messy systems, stalled progress, and it shows up as apathy, stagnation, turnover, burnout. And reality is, policies and metrics won't save us. Dashboards and checklists measure activity, not possibility. We don't need more control, we need more creativity. But here's the thing, we keep treating creativity like just a fun add-on. What if creativity wasn't just a moment, but built into your systems? Not an activity, but as a strategy for sustainable change. In systems, if you shift one part, you shift the whole. Imagine creativity, designed as part of a strategy to ripple throughout your entire organization. Creativity is the disruption. It's a force that shifts everything. When creativity enters a system, it ignites transformation. So what does creativity look like through a systems lens? Here are 5 ways it shows up. 5 shifts that can transform how an organization works. The first, creativity is emergent. It grows when the conditions are in place. Like ideas flowing when people feel safe and able to be curious. You can't force it, but you can design for it. Creativity is a leverage point. In systems, small shifts create big change. One idea can reshape an entire organization. Creativity is interconnected. When creativity enters a system, it connects to every level of an organization, from strategy to innovation to operations. Creativity requires feedback loops. Curiosity sparks imagination. Imagination builds connections. Connections shifts perspectives. Perspectives spark new curiosities. Creativity is adaptive. It prepares organizations for what's next, helping them thrive through constant change. From uncertainty to possibility, and uncertainty and change to adaptive to change. This is not fluff. Creativity delivers ROI, real outcomes, growth, performance, impact. And here's how systems-level creativity delivers: greater innovation, productivity, recruitment, retention, engagement, measurable outcomes that build sustainable competitive advantage. When you build a creative organization, you don't just survive change, you lead it. Because creativity isn't just about keeping up, it's about setting the pace. So next time someone says, yeah, when pigs fly, don't just join them and roll your eyes. Pause and ask yourself, what if we could? We all need to make pigs fly because the future of work is changing faster than ever. New technologies, changing expectations, growing uncertainty and ambiguity. Creativity is how we design for what's next. So if HR can make pigs fly, you're not just supporting the business. You're shaping what's possible. You're shaping the future. The time is now. How will you make pigs fly? Thank you. Because I'm last, I get to do this, but I couldn't actually leave without making an actual pig fly. So we're going to try this.
Oh. Well,
I'm not a blue jay, so.
The first one was a great thrill.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks to Rogers Centre for hosting us and the Ottawa Business Journal team for welcoming us and being a great partner. It's been an engaging day. I've been here since 9 a.m. I'm looking forward to going home. It's been a long day, but I'm so glad that you all took the time to make this part of your day, and I'm glad that I was here too. So thank you very much. Have a good evening. Safe drive home.